Hi all, Christine Byer here, licensed esthetician for 21 years, and these Wednesday videos I like to do sort of more chill, relaxed videos on whatever tickles my fancy. And so I wanted to talk about the flick. And I don't know if you're familiar with the flick, but it's a way to lift, a flattering way to lift the outer corners of the eyes on aging skin. If you have a hooded brow like I do, and most of us do as things drop and we get older, it's advantageous to us to put a little flick. I don't have it on right now. I do have sort of deep eyeshadow here, but I have no flick. You know, my mom does this and she's 79, and it makes such a difference because our eyes actually get smaller as we age because the padding that's behind our eyes degrades and gets less. And until they can figure out how to pump filler back there, it's always going to be a problem. And that's why babies look like they have such huge eyes, right? Because they've got this, we have the same size eyes our whole life, and the only thing that happens that's different is that they sink back. So don't quote me on that same size eyes, but I'm pretty sure. For this flick to work, you're going to need a slanted edge flat brush, and this is a Morphe R44. There's also this little elf one I found. I have a whole bunch like this. I'm like, oh, but the elf one is kind of sucky because they start to fall apart, so I need to put some glue on there. But yeah, there's an elf one. It's not quite as long as the Morphe, but just depends on, you know, this is really easy to get. To do the flick, I'm just going to use, you want a medium to deep colored eyeshadow, and this is like, you can do it with liquid or ink, but this gives a much softer look. So this is just my alter ego. This is a dupe of the Anastasia Beverly Hills Glam, Soft Glam palette. And I tend to use this a lot just because it's simple. It's kind of beginner friendly because it's pigmented, but it's also buildable. So I'm just going to grab this chocolate brown and then one little dunk into the black. So I want to keep this not too dark. And so we're going to follow the lower lid and go up. We don't want it to go to the side. We want it to go up because we're trying to bring that corner up. And we also are just going to stamp. So let's see if I can do this without having a mirror close. Do you see how I stamped it? And I think I'll put a little down here too. So that is the flick. Let me see. And then you can buff it out a little bit if you want it to be softer. And that is the flick. So you notice that it sort of gives that eye some definition. Let's do it on the other side. Now I can do it, like, I love this palette, but this palette is, anything by Natasha Denona is gorgeous, but I would say they're advanced palettes to work with because they are so pigmented. So like what I did with this one, how I sort of buffed it down to make it look better and more softer. There's no buffing it down to look softer with this, or you can, but it just doesn't buff out. It is so pigmented, it just stays. So I'm gonna do this color right here. Yeah, just a little bit of this darker brown. Tap off any excess with this. And once again, I'm left-handed, so we're gonna just stamp. And you want to hold it so like the longer end is pointing towards the corner of the... I don't know if I can do this without being close up in a mirror. I'll have to use the monitor. And sometimes you have to, see how pigmented this is? Sometimes you have to pull the skin up. This is just not, see how it does not buff back out? It really doesn't. It does a little, but a lot less than the other side. So that is the flick. And if you want, God, I really hate pulling on this eye area. So I tend to just stamp, 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 stamp. And just make sure you can take a Q-tip or whatnot and go straight like this, because you really want it to be going up. Did I make these level? I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to see if they're level without looking at a mirror. But I guess I can look in this one. So they're sort of all over the map. And I did not stick my, I didn't stick my brush back into any product. I'm just trying to sort of buff this out, as I want the effect. I just don't want it to look so obvious. If you mess it up, you can always go in with a Q-tip and make sure you go not straight up, but follow this lower lash and maybe a little higher, because a lot of us, when we relax our eyes, this will come down. So it's good to make it a little bit higher than this. And see how I need to fix that. Yeah, so that's the flick. And I'm going to go in here. I forgot how gorgeous some of these colors are. I got a little bit of this. This is the inner corner. This is interesting because it says inner corner, blend, smoke. But I'm going to put this right here. So pretty. This is a very flattering palette. It's just very super pigmented and kind of unforgiving if you mess up with the darker colors, but gorgeous nonetheless. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Put a little here. So that's it, the flick. You know, I love makeup. The reason I got into skincare was because of makeup. I was like, well, I want to do makeup on clients, so I might as well get my skincare license. And then I discovered that I really loved doing facials. And after I graduated, I did a few weddings and discovered I really hated doing makeup, like wedding makeup. It was very stressful. So I just said, no. So I've always had a love of makeup. And I think during the pandemic, I sat down and I was able to watch so many different channels. And there's a lot of great channels on how to do age-appropriate makeup. And see, I need to put a little bit of, just a little brightening concealer here, because I think I rubbed off my concealer there. Anyway, thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye now.